Iran asserts sovereignty amid ongoing conflict with Israel and U.S. pressure. Amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, Iranian officials have reiterated their stance of no surrender to the United States, emphasizing that diplomacy is a more prudent choice than war. This statement comes in the wake of a series of Israeli airstrikes that have reportedly resulted in significant casualties in Lebanon, with the Lebanese health ministry citing over 3,000 deaths since the beginning of hostilities in March 2026. The ongoing conflict has raised alarms internationally, as the repercussions extend beyond the borders of Lebanon and Israel. Iran's refusal to yield to U.S. pressure reflects its commitment to assert its influence in the region, particularly in light of the ongoing tensions surrounding its nuclear program and regional alliances. The Iranian government has framed its military actions as defensive measures against what it perceives as aggressive maneuvers from both the United States and Israel. In recent weeks, the situation has intensified, with Iranian leaders issuing stark warnings about the consequences of continued Israeli attacks. Iran's military capabilities have come under scrutiny, particularly with regard to its missile technology and proxy forces in the region, including Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Iranian government has made it clear that it views its military strength as a deterrent against external threats. Internationally, the situation has garnered attention from various global entities, including the United Nations, which has called for restraint from all parties involved. The UN Secretary-General has urged both Iran and Israel to pursue de-escalation and engage in dialogue to prevent further loss of life. However, the prospects for meaningful negotiations appear bleak, given the entrenched positions of both sides. The conflict's impact on regional stability cannot be overstated. Neighboring countries, including those in the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC), are closely monitoring the developments, as they fear that a broader conflict could destabilize the entire region. The prospect of increased Iranian influence in Iraq and Syria has already raised concerns among Gulf states, which view Tehran's actions as a direct challenge to their sovereignty. The humanitarian crisis in Lebanon is also becoming increasingly dire as a result of the ongoing conflict. With infrastructure severely damaged and access to basic necessities dwindling, international aid organizations are calling for immediate assistance to address the urgent needs of displaced populations and those affected by the violence. The Lebanese economy, already struggling, faces further decline as the conflict disrupts trade and investment. As the situation develops, observers are keenly watching for any shifts in U.S. policy regarding Iran. The Biden administration has thus far maintained a strategy of diplomatic engagement, but the growing violence could compel a reevaluation of this approach. Additionally, the implications for African nations, particularly those reliant on Middle Eastern oil and trade routes, could be significant if the conflict escalates further and disrupts global markets. The geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, with Russia and China also watching the developments closely, as they have interests in the region that could be affected by a prolonged conflict. The potential for a multilateral response to the crisis remains uncertain, but the international community appears increasingly aware of the need for a coordinated approach to address the underlying issues fueling the conflict. In summary, the ongoing conflict between Iran, Israel, and their respective allies underscores the complexity of Middle Eastern geopolitics. As diplomatic efforts are challenged by military actions, the global community faces pressing questions about how to effectively navigate this volatile landscape while addressing the humanitarian needs arising from the crisis.